Hello guys, welcome to Code Enzyme, and today let's discuss the ABCD problem of the Division 2 Starters 94 Codechef. So let's start with the first problem. So we are given the problem statement goes like chef offers a feature called streak count. A streak is maintained if you solve at least one problem daily. Om and Addy actively maintain their streaks on Codechef over a span of n consecutive days. Okay, so you have observed the count of problems solved by each of them daily. Your task is to determine the maximum streak achieved by Om and Addy and find who has a longer streak. Okay, so and in the output format we are given that okay, so they maintain a streak and we need to find out who has the maximum streak till now. So for every test case, like the first line, this is number 3, so I'm taking it here as an input, and next line I have to take this as input, so n is equal to int input. Okay, and then I have to take 2 input arrays. So for that I can do, for Om I will do a, so a is equal to map list map int input dot split. Okay, so now we have a, and similarly we can take an input array b, so I will just copy paste it and put here a b. Okay, so now we are done with the input, and now we need to find out who has the maximum streak. So how can we calculate a streak? We will need 2 variables. So one, I will store the maximum streak till now. So let's say that variable is Om. For Om I have a variable, and let's also store have a max Om variable to store the maximum streak of Om. So current streak of Om and maximum streak of Om at any ith position. And similarly we can have a variable Addy. I don't know why it is giving this auto correction here, and let's make another variable maximum Addy is equal to 0. Okay, now with using these 4 variables, what I can do, okay, let's just run a for loop for I in range n. And so for I in range n, what I can do, if what was this, a was for Om, right? So if a of I equals 0, so if that is 0, I am going to set Om equal to 0, else I am going to say okay, Om plus equals 1, and at this step, and also if I can say if b of I equals 0, I am going to say okay, Addy equals 0, and else I can do Addy plus equals 1, right? And now I can take the maximum of all these. So maximum Om is equal to max of max Om, comma, what was the score, current score, Om. And similarly I can do max Addy is equal to max Addy, comma, Addy. Okay, so now we have these two. I can do, now I have taken the maximum of all of these. Now okay, so if now I just have to check which of these max Om or max Addy is the maximum, and then I can print the answer, right? So if max Addy greater than max Om, I should print Addy. Okay, there is also a case if max Om is greater than max Addy, then I should print Om. And if max Addy equals to max Om, I will print a draw. So let's submit this and see if it works. First let's run it on the test case, sample test case. and the answer is AD, draw and ohm, so it works correctly. Okay, now so this was correct. Let's move on to the next problem, that is possible or not. And for this I will need some notes, I guess. So let me make a... Okay, now it is working. Okay, so let's read the problem statement. Chef offers a feature called streak count. Oh, this was the previous problem. Okay, this is the current problem, and let's see if this works now. So let me just change the heading for now. Okay, so let's read the problem statement. Ohm has an array A of size n and an integer b. He wants to find whether there exists a non-empty subsequence of A such that the bitwise AND of all elements in the subsequence is equal to B. Okay, so quite an interesting problem, and let's analyze the test case here. So we are given numbers 6 and 5. So we have 6 integers and we want this to be B, and now we have an array 1, 7, 3, 1, 7, 3, 4, 2, 1, 7, 3, 4, 2, 13. Okay, and and I want to take some elements from these from this array such that the bitwise AND such that the bitwise AND of all elements is equal to this B. And we need to just check if it is possible or not. We don't need to find the actual subsequence, right? And for the bitwise AND property, we know that 1 and 1 is 1, and 1 and 0 is 0, 0 and 1 is 0, and 0 and 0 is 0. Okay, so this is the property of bitwise AND operator. And okay, let's just analyze it in bitwise manner. So what is the bitwise binary of 5? It is 1, 0, 1, right? Similarly, we can say what is the bitwise of 1? Let's take 4-bit integers because we have the maximum it is 13 right, for now, right? So what is the binary of 1? Binary of 1 is 0, 0, 0, 1, right? What is binary of 7? Binary of 7 is 0, 1, 1, 1, right? And what is binary of 3? Binary of 3 is 2 plus 1, so it will be 0, 0, 1, 1. Okay, what is the binary of 4? Binary of 4 is 4 only, so 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0. Okay, what is binary of 2? 0, 0, 1, 0. And what is binary of 13? So 13 can be written like 8 plus 5 or 8 plus 4 plus 1. So it is going to become 1, 1, 0, 1. I hope I am correct. 1 plus 4 plus 8. I think this is correct. Okay. Is there an eraser option here? I don't know. Okay. Let's see what we can do from here. So I want to select some elements from these numbers. Okay. Such that the bitwise AND of all these numbers is 5. Now if I have okay, let's say that if I have a 1 here, for this position I'm talking about the least significant bit. Okay, now I know that my 5 has a 1 on the least significant bit, and if in my subsequence whatever those elements are, if I have a 4 or 2, let me write it again. Suppose I have some elements and then I have a 4 and then I have some elements, and if I take bitwise AND of all these elements, I'm in the last row. we have some ones, and then we in the 4 we have a 0, so it will make all the elements we will never get the bitwise AND of 5 as 0, right? I mean, sorry, we will never get the bitwise AND of all elements in the subsequence as for this first position as 0, right? I will try to explain it better. Let's say, for example, in the initial subsequence I put all the elements 1, 7, 3, 4, 2 and 13. Okay, now I have all these elements in the subsequence. Now I will rephrase the question like, what element should I remove from this subsequence such that making 5 is possible? Okay, and I will write it like this. Okay, 5 is 1, 0 and 1. Okay, so I'm rephrasing the question like, what minimum number of elements should I remove such that making 5 is possible? So my claim is, if 5 has 1 here, then all the elements in this subsequence should have the ith bit set. So does 1 has ith this bit set? Let's check here. No, so I'm going to remove 1. Okay, does 7 has third bit set? Yes, so I'm going to keep it here. Okay, does 3 has this bit set? No, so I'm going to remove it. Does 4 has this bit set? Yes, so let's keep it. And does 2 has? No, so I'm going to remove it. And does 13 has this bit set? Yes. And for 0, currently I'm going to ignore it. It doesn't matter much. I'm going to tackle it in next loop. And let's say, and for the least significant bit, this one, let's see which elements have. So 7 has this bit set. 4 does not, so let's remove 4 also. And 13 also has this bit set. So now my subsequence becomes 7 and 13. And now I know that in the middle position we have a 0. So I need to check if at least I will write down the step: remove all elements, I don't have space, such that the ith bit is not set. Okay, if the ith bit of B is set, then remove all the elements in the subsequence such that the ith bit is not set. Okay, and after this step I am going to check if at least one element has ith bit unset. Okay, so both of these have let's check. The second bit is unset for 13, so it is possible. So the answer is yes. If all these conditions are met, then I will get my answer. Okay, so I hope I was able to explain it properly. Let's try to code it here. I'm using Python, but if you want me to do it in C++, you can comment me down. I don't know what you guys actually want. So quite a new channel, right? Okay, so let's see the input format. Input is like, okay, the first line contains a single integer t, second line contains n and b. So I'm going to take the input n and b is equals to map int input dot split. Okay, so I have taken n and b. Now I need an array, I guess. Okay, let's take an array input. So let me call it a only. So a is equal to list map int input dot split. Okay, so now I have n, b and a. So how should I start about it? Now we know that I need to find out the subsequence, right? So for now I'm going to set my subsequence equals to set A. So this will remove all the duplicates in A. It might cost me some time, but let's see what are the constraints here. Let me just check here. Constraints are 2 raised to power 30, so 30-bit integers, and 10 raised to power 5 numbers, removing duplicates. I think this should work. Okay. We have a subsequence. For now, some sequence I wrote. We have a subsequence that has all the elements in the array, just like we did here. I am putting all the elements of the array in my subsequence. Okay. Now I want to traverse for, okay, let's say there are 30-bit integers, so I am going to run a loop of 31 just to be on safe side. You can also go for 32, 34, doesn't matter. Okay. Now for I in range 32, I have to check if the ith bit of B is 1. So B, if let's say B bitwise and 1 less than I. If this bit is 1, okay, if this bit is 1, I have to remove all the elements in this subsequence such that I have to remove all this whose ith bit is not set, right? So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to update my subsequence x for x in subsequence and bitwise and 1 less than I. So the ith bit of all these for x in subsequence, I am checking if the ith bit of x is set, right? This should be if here. Okay, I mean if, not and. Okay, so for x in subsequence, I am checking if the ith bit of x is set, then I am keeping it in the subsequence. Otherwise I am removing it from the subsequence. Okay, and else I can in the end I have to check the ith bit for whose, in the end I have to check whose what positions we had zeros in the B, so I can maintain a array. So zeros, you can call it anything. I am calling it zeros. So zeros dot append. So in this I am going to simply append my I, or I can run a separate loop for this. It doesn't actually matter. But after this loop is over, I have to run another loop for I in zeros, or even without this I can do the same loop again and check if this was 0 and run the same process. It doesn't matter. You can choose whatever you like. It will save some space. Okay. Now I need to check if at least one element in this leftover subsequence is there whose ith bit is not set, right? So let's say, okay, found equals true for now, and let's say check equals false, and okay, for I in subsequence, if I not like that. For element, let's say element in subsequence, if element bitwise and 1 less than I, and if this is equals to 0, okay, if this is equal to 0, then I can say, okay, check equals true and break out of this loop. No need to do this anymore. Oh, I by mistake clicked some command plus enter, so it got submitted. Doesn't matter. For element in subsequence, if element and 1 less than I is equal to 0, then check equals to true. Okay, and we have a break statement here. Now what I can do, now if this check is true, then I have to do, if this check is not true, let's say check is For example, if all the elements were traverse and check was not true, if not check, then I have to say found equals false because there was no element. And I can break out of this whole loop. Okay. Now I need to just print if found. I can print a yes. It was capital YES, right? Wait a second. It was YES and a no. Okay. So it was yes, else I can print a no. Okay. So let's submit it and see if this works. So that gives us a correct answer. Let's move on to the next problem. So the vowel matrix. Okay. And I will need another notes here. Let's just remove it. Okay, so the name is Vowel Matrix. And so welcome to Mega City. So welcome to Mega City. Neo finds himself in a high stake situation. He has a string S of length n, and his task is to crack the string using Vowel Matrix. The Vowel Matrix is a unique cryptographic scheme where the string is sliced into multiple pieces, such that the pieces contains exactly k vowels. Determine the number of ways you can slice the string S using Vowel Matrix scheme. Since the number can be huge, printed modulo 10 to the power 9 plus 7. Okay. So how can we solve it? Let's see. So let's see this test case. 10, 2. We have 10, 2. So 10. So the length of the string will be 10, and we need to have two vowels in every piece of the string. So we have B, A, B, Y, L, O, N, I, A, N, L, O, N, I, A, N. Okay. So first vowel, we have a second vowel, and we also have a third vowel and a fourth vowel. Okay, I think it is given in the question that it is guaranteed that S contains one vowel, the vowel, so the partition will always be possible, and the answer will never be 0, right? At least one partition will be possible. So I can see that okay, let's take a different test case. So if I have a or okay, let's say that I need what is this number called? Wait a second. So this number is called k. So if k is equal to 2. Okay. Now there are 3 cases, or there may be more. I can see from here that there are 3 cases. Like if I have AA, then there is only one possible partition, right? AA partition AA. Okay. I mean, it doesn't matter that how many B's are before, but if I have AA, and then doesn't matter how many consonants are after that. Yeah, by AA I mean vowels, right? I don't mean actually only AA. It can be AEIOU. Okay. So there is only one possible way to partition it. So the answer will be 1. Okay. Now what happens if I put a B or a consonant in between these? So we have some consonant C1, C2, C3. Then I have vowels V1, V2. And then I put a consonant C1 dash in between. So, and then I have V3 and V4 and so on. Okay. So for this middle part, I can either put a cut here or I can put a cut here. So I have to multiply it by 2, right? Right. Now what should I do? I can put a cut here, And there is also is there any more case? So basically, if I have v1 and v2 and I have c1, c2, c3, c4 consonants, then I have v3 and v4. How many cuts can I produce? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cuts. So what does it mean? Basically, n plus 1, the number of consonants between vowels plus 1. Okay. So whenever I encounter k vowels, between the next vowel, I need to count the number of consonants and I have to multiply it to the answer, and that is how I will calculate my final answer, right? So I hope you were able to understand it. Let's try to code it here. So the input format is n comma b, n comma k. Okay, so n comma k is equals to map int input dot split. Okay, so n comma k was this, and now we need to check how many, if this is possible. Now we need to check if this is possible. So now we need to loop for let's just take the string as an input first. So input dot split. Okay, so there are actually several ways to solve this problem. My way might not be the most efficient one. It is just the way that I solved the problem for the first time when I was giving the contest. Okay, so don't go in the comment section like this is not the most optimal way or like that. Okay, we also need to take the modulo, right? So I will initialize so we have nk and a string s, and now we need to, so I want to traverse the string till I find at least k variables, k vowels, right? So there are, or what I can do, I can store it in an array, the positions of these vowels. Like let's see, in this example only, Babylonian. So we have B A B Y Lonian. Actually, what one way is to traverse like till O. This is position number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Okay, so one way is to traverse and keep a count of the number of vowels till now, and now I can traverse till next vowel and count the number of consonants, right? And then I can do this step again and multiply it to the answer. That is also one of the way, but I think it might be confusing and there might be several edge cases. Other thing what we can do is, whenever we encounter a vowel, I can maintain a list or a vector of the indices. Like, okay, first position we encountered a vowel, and the fifth position we also encountered a vowel, and next I encountered a vowel at seventh position and then eighth position. Okay, so I can run this loop. Okay, for I needed two values, so this index minus this index, right? And I can increment it by two values. I will show you how you can code this directly. Okay, so we have vowels is equals to A, E, I, O, U. Okay, and is it written that all of these are lowercase alphabets? Yeah, they are all lowercase. Okay, so and vowel, let me call it V only. These are VI. So vowel indices is equal to an empty list, and let's traverse in S and in range N if S of I in vowels. Okay, so if S of I in vowels, I am going to append it to the VI array. So append I. Okay, so after the end of this loop, I have this VI array. Now what I can do is I can traverse, I can do another for loop k minus 1 till len vi minus 1, because I don't want to take the last element. Just like in this case, if I do, I am starting from k minus 1 position and I am adding k, but I don't want to consider this last element, right? So that is why I have a len vi minus 1 here. And let's also make an answer variable which is initially 1. Okay, I am going to do answer is equals to answer times what, v of I plus 1 minus v of I. So 5 minus 2 is 7, and I can do let's see this again here. 5 minus 2 is 7, and I have to multiply this by 2, right? So that was 2, and if it was 5 and 6, then I have to multiply it by 1. Okay, so that is correct. And I also have to take the modulus mod. Okay, it was capital MOD, and now I can just print my answer variable. So let's see if this works on the local test case. And I'm getting a runtime error. Why this n is not defined? Okay, I made a capital N here. Where is it? Let's run it again and see what happens. And s of I in vowels, list index out of range. Now why is that happening? Okay, it should be input dot strip. And now we have v is not defined because it was vi. Let's change the name here. That is why I like to code in VS Code, because so many errors can happen and I'm not used to coding in this IDE. But I thought for making the video I could use that, right? So vi, and now this should work. vi is not defined. Why is this happening so many times? Okay, vi, where is the vi? It says vi. Let me just, okay, len vi, and now all the errors are resolved. And I'm getting 1 and 2, which is the correct answer. Let's try to submit it. Okay, we got an AC for this one. Let's move on to the next problem. Okay, so let's move on to the next problem. Search for 404. And the problem statement goes like, Ohm has a string S consisting of 4, 0 and stars only, and star can be replaced by either 4 or 0. And Ohm wants to count the total number of subsequences of 404 present in all possible strings generating after star, okay, replacing star, okay. As the number can be huge, we need to print modulo of 10 to the power 9 plus 7. For example, if S is this, then what are the possible strings after replacing star, okay. So, and okay, and the constraints are 10 to the power 5, so we can go for n log n type solution, and it can consist of only stars and 0. As the number can be huge, you must use the output modulo operator, okay. Now this is this seems to be, because we want to replace star with a 0 or 4, I think we can solve it by recursion, or we can also go for, and then we will try to optimize it using dynamic programming or something like that, or we can even find out, maybe we can even optimize it further. So let's see how we can do it. And this might be a very long problem, so I would like you to sit with a pen and paper and make all the cases, write all the cases, so you can understand it. And it might be a long problem, so but I will make sure that you will be able to solve it after this video, okay. So let's see what we can do here. Let's first understand the test case here. We have 4 star 04 and 4 star 4 star. Okay, so we have 4 star 04. Let's see. So there are two possibilities here. We can either have a 4004 or we can have a 4404. Okay, now if I can solve for these two separately and I can add the values here, then I will get my answer, right? What was the next test case? 4 star 4 star. So let's have a 4 star 4 and star. So there are 4 possibilities: 4040, or I can say 4044. Then we have a 4404, and I have a 4444. Okay, and now we want to count the number of let me just remove this from here, quite distracting now. And now we want to count the number of subsequences of 404. So how do we form a 404 subsequence? For this we can either choose this 4, this 0 and this 4. Okay, wait a second, and this 4, or we can choose this 4, this 0 and this 4. So we have 2 from here. Okay, then 2 from here, because we can choose this this 4, 0 and this, or we can choose this, this and this. Okay, so total we have 4, and our answer was 4 only. Okay, and for this one we only have this one possibility here. Then we have 2 from this, and we have 2 from this also. Wait a second, I choose 00, 04, 40 and 44. So we have 0 from here because I can't select. See, for subsequences the order matters. Okay, and we have no 404 here, so in total we only have 3, which is our answer. Okay, so in total we have 3 here. Okay, now how can we find it? Now let's forget if I don't have a star. How can we let's forget that we have stars. Okay, for example, if I can break this into this and this, can I calculate for that only? I mean let's say we don't have for now, let's take a case we don't have any stars in the string. Okay, so for example, let's take this one only, 4004. Okay, now since we have 4004, how can we calculate for the number of subsequences of 404 in this string? So if we don't have a star, like for this position, I can say okay, the number of 4 is 1. Okay, and like that we can actually do an additive like thing, like we can do it using dynamic programming or something. Like we can solve for all the prefixes, and in the end my answer will be for the last prefix. Okay, so basically if we are given the answer for 4, then we will try to calculate what will be the answer for 40, and if we are given the answer for 40, then we will try to calculate the answer for 400, and so on. And in the last step we can get the answer for 404, which will be my final answer. Okay, so how can we calculate this step by step? Okay, so I'm going to create or let me just code this out for you, and this time I will not be using this ID because there are a lot of chances that I will make a typo here. So I will use my VS Code for this, and I have taken an input and a string s, but I will use a new file here. and let's take 4004, and I will define a function which will be my helper function, and let's see how I can do it. So I will initialize I equal to 0, okay, and I will keep a count of 4s here, which is initially 0, okay. So whenever I encounter if s of I equals 4, so what I can do, like this first step, if s of I is 4, I should increment my this variable, right? So I will say, okay, count 4 plus equals 1, right? And when I encounter a 0, should I take a count of zeros or 4 zeros? What I mean is it worth getting a count of zeros in here? Will it help me? It will not help me, because instead of taking a count of 4s and zeros separately till ith index, I should take a count of 4 zeros and 4 zeros. Like what I mean is, we have, let's say, suppose we have 440, okay. So for this, the number of 4s is 2. What is the number of 40? 1 and 2. 1 is using this 2 and 1 is using this 2, okay. And what is the count of number of 404? So there is 0, right? But now if I have this information, can I calculate for 40? Can I calculate these three values for 4404? That is my question. So what will be the number of 404 here? What will the number of 4s here? So the new number of 4s is 3, right? Because we are adding a 4 here, so number of 4s will increase by 1. And can we have number of 4 zeros? So the number of 4 zeros will increase by how much? It will remain the same, because we are adding a 4 here, right? We are adding a 4 here, so number of 4 zeros should not change, so it will remain 2 only. But number of 404 will be changed, right? Because all these number of 4 zeros can become 404 now. You can try to count it. It will be 2. We will now be able to make 2 404 using 1 2 3 and 1 2 3, right? But there is another possibility, that what if we want to add plus 0 here? So my new string will become 4400. So my count of 4 will remain same. So number of 4s is equal to 0, and we can't even form a 404. So number of 404 will, it will not be 0, it will be 2. Silly mistake. And the number of 404 will also remain the same, because we can't make a 404 by adding a 0, okay. So number of 404 will still be equal to 0 only. We are coming from here, not here, okay. But the number of 4 zeros will change, right? So the number of 40 will be how much? All the 4s will now become 40. So 2 plus 2 plus 2, it will become 4, right? Let's count it. So 1 2 3 4, so it will become 4. So that will be my case. So I hope you are able to understand it till this point. Like for every I index, I am trying to store the count of 4, the count of 40, and the count of 404. These are initially 0, okay. So these are initially 0. Whenever I encounter a 4, what I should do is I should increment the number of 4s by 1, okay. And I should also increment the number of 404s by 1 by plus equals to the number of count of 40. That is what I am doing here. Whenever I encounter a 4, I am adding the number of 4 zeros to this variable, okay. or there is a possibility that it was a 0. If this was a 0, then what I should do is I should what did I do here? I will keep these two same, okay, but my count of 40 will increase. So count of 40 plus equals to all the 4s will become 40, right? So count of 4, okay. And in the end I should return, in this case I should return f of I plus 1, go to the next index with these values, right? So count 4, count 40 and count 404, okay. And in here also I should return, or let's make our answer variable for our reference, return answer, okay. And return I will do the same thing here and return answer, okay. Okay, so this is a very basic recursion here, and we are trying to calculate all the number of 404s. So let's run this function and try to print it, okay. And we are getting an error. What is the error? Index out of range. Oh, because we did not write the base case here. So if I equals n, that means it reached the end of the string. Let n be the length of this string. Then I am going to simply return the number of the count of 404, which is my answer, okay. So we are getting 2 here, and the answer was 2, okay. So this is for the case when we don't have any stars in it, okay. So this solution will work when we don't have any star in the string and we are good, okay. But what happens when we have a star? Things will become really complicated, right? So we have another case here. So we have a third case when we will encounter a star. And because of this, when we also have a star here, let's analyze it for 0, 4 only, okay. So now our string consists of 4 zeros and stars. So every time what happens when, so we have 3 cases, right? We have a string, we want to place a new character, and this character can be either a 4, it can either be a, wait a second, it can either be a 0 or it can either be a star, right? So let's just try to understand it with this example, 4 star 0 4, okay. 4 star 0 and 4, okay. So so I want you to take a pen and paper and try to analyze it with me, because this might be very confusing right now, okay. So if I want to go with prefixes for I equal to 0, okay, or let's just make 2 cases from here, that okay, it can be 4004 or it can turn out like 4404, right? And for each of these, sorry about that, for each of these I want to calculate the prefixes, right? Let's say for I equal to 0 and for I equal to 0, we have only one possibility, we will get only 4. So the number of 4 is equal to 1, 40 is equal to 0, and 404 is equal to 0, right? For this also it will be the same. So I can say the number of 4 is equal to 1, and the number of 40 is equal to 0, number of 404 is equal to 0, okay. Now here comes the interesting part. I is equal to 1, we have a 40 here, and in this case for I equals to 1 we have a 4 here, okay. So the number of, I will just write it like number of 4s is 1, number of 4 zeros is 1 for this case, and number of 404 is 0 for this case, right? And for this case we have number of 4s as 2, number of 4 zeros as 0, and number of 404 as 0. Okay, now let's go for I equals to 2, or let me make a combined thing, that okay, if I combine this, this analysis is for 4004, this analysis is for 4404, and this analysis is for 4 star 04. Okay, I think I overdid it a bit, so I think I took too much space here. So let me just try to shift things. Can I don't think I can shift it from here. Okay, no problem. I will just try to manage on my own, right? Okay, so we have a 4 star 04. So for I equal to 0, now we have 4s as number of 4s will still be 1. Okay, and 4 zeros will still be 0, and 404 will still be 0. Okay, but for I equals to 2, for this 4 star 04, we will have number of 4s as how many? The sum of these two. Wait, 40 and 44. So the number of 4s is 3. Right? Whenever we encounter a star, I should add the number of 4s, and I should also add the number of 4 zeros. So my 4 zeros will become 1, right? And 404 will become 0. Okay. I know it is getting a little bit messy. Sorry for that, because of my handwriting. But let's move on to the next step. For I equals to 3, we are at another 0. So we will try to add another 0, right? So here also we are at I equals to 3, and the string now becomes 400, and for that I have the number of 4s is still as 1, and number of zeros, number of 40 will be now 2, because we are adding a 0, this and this, and number of 404 is still 0. Okay, and for I equals to 3, in this case the string becomes 440, and the number of 4s is still 2, the number of 40 now becomes 1 2, right? And the number of 404 becomes, it will still remain the same, because we have 44012. Okay, it will remain the same, we have 40. Okay, now for I equals to 3, what will happen here, that we can either have this or this. Basically we are trying to combine these two, right? So the possibilities are 400 and 404, and actually, so let's say we can either have a 400 or we can have a 440. So what is the number of 3? Number of 4s. So number of 4s is still 3, and number of 404, it is 2, and the number of number of 404, not number of 4 zeros is 2, and the number of 404 is how much? Number of 404 is still 0, right? Okay, and let's move on to the last step. For I equals to 4. Okay, now for I equals to 4, we can either have so for this string we will have a 4004, right? Yeah, and in here we will have a 4404, and combining this we can either have a 4004 or 4404. Okay, so the number of fours is so the number of fours in here is 2, and the number of four zeros is 1 2 2 only, and the number of 404 is 1, it will become 2. Okay, and in here the number of 4 is from this one we have the number of 4s is 3, and number of 4 zeros is equal to 2. Okay, and the number of 404 is equal to 1 2. So in the final string for I equals to 4, which will be our answer, I can say the number of fours is equals to 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so basically the sum of the other two, 5. Number of 4 zeros will be the sum of these two, so it will be 4. Okay, and number of 404, it will be the sum of these two, so answer for this one will be 4. Okay, so we did all this analysis, and now we can say, so what can we observe from here? Let's just do one more. I will try to write this whole thing neatly. You can skip a few seconds ahead. Okay, so now that we have written this, what I can say is how is the count of 4 changing? Like it jumped from 1 to 3, right? Whenever I encountered a star, or let's analyze when we are adding a 4 and we had 1 star before, so it jumped by 2, it went to plus 2, right? When we are trying to add a 4, the count of 4 went to plus 2, which is equal to 2 raised to power the number of stars before this point, right? So my code will change that if I try to make a add a number of 4, I should also keep a count of star, right, which is initially 0. And instead of doing plus 4, I should do 2 raised to power the power of count. So actually I should also take the mod here. So mod is equal to 10 raised to power 9 plus 7, right? So count 4 is going to become count 4 plus what was that? Count 4 plus 2 raised to power count star, and I should also give it a mod and finally take a mod. Okay, and what else is changing? Whenever I add a 4, wait a second, this should not change, right? Because we are adding a 4, the 4 0 should not change. I think I did somewhere a mistake. This should be 4 only here, right? It was a typo here, sorry about that. Yeah, so the count of 40 did not change, but the count of 404 changed. So how so? We added this 4 like that, and the count of 404 will change like count 404 is equal to count 404 plus count of 4, this new count of 4. How so? 5 plus I should do I have a 5 here now, right? 3 from 0 it went to 4, and that only happens when I am able to add. So this okay, so this 404 is coming from 40 because all the 4 zeros will be converted to 404, right? So count 404 is equal to count 404 plus count 4 zeros, and then I should take a mod. Okay, and now I will push them to the answer. I should write count star here, and I will return the answer. Okay, now if this was a 0, if we are trying to add a 0, the count of 4 and 404 will remain the same, but I will get an increment by the count of 4s. Okay, so count 40 will be equal to count 40 plus count 4 mod of mod. Okay, and then I can find out this answer. I should also pass this here. Okay, and now here comes the tricky part. What if we encounter a star? Now since we are using recursion, first I will show you a solution that will give you a TLE, and then we will try to optimize it, right? So we can first try to place a 0 here. So basically we can do this whole thing, right? So wait a second. Okay, so now we added a 0 here, and once we have calculated the answer for this one, I should say initially 40 is equal to count 40, and then I will update my count 40 is equal to initially 40, right? Reverting the changes, and then I can do is I can place a 4 here instead. Okay, so I am first calculating for this one, then I am backtracking, and then I am trying to calculate for this one. Okay, right? And now if now once I have calculated for this one, I should actually do plus equals to and take answer is equal to answer mod and return answer. Okay, so let's see if this works, and my test string will be 4 star 4 star, and it gives us 11, which is wrong answer. So let's see where we went wrong. Actually I am increasing the count of 4, this is correct, and okay, I didn't do count star plus equals 1, right? So whenever I encounter but that will just increase my answer, right? Because count star was initially 0. I added a 0 there, and I calculated it for this one, and I increased my count star here, calculated the answer and returned it. So that increased my answer here. So where is it that I went wrong? Okay, we are trying to go to with this 40 and 404. I didn't do a count star plus equals 1 here. It should actually be like this and this. Okay, and now it is even worse, 13. Okay, so where are we going wrong actually? Okay, so there was a typo here. It should be 40, not 4, and when I refresh it, it gives me the correct answer. But since we are calling this function twice, it is giving me an exponential time complexity, which is not desirable, and it will surely give me a TLE, right? So instead of doing this, what we can do is let's see the notes again. So basically, whenever I am encountering a star, what is happening? 1 is changing to 3, 40 is changing to 1, and 404 is changing to 0. In reality, I don't want to analyze it once more because it will just take my time. Basically, what we are doing is we are combining these two steps in here. So we will try to add a 0 and a 4, but before that I am multiplying all these values by 2. So that is what is happening here. So let me just try to do it once again. So I will have I will just try to, like for example, if there was 1 here, okay, I mean if there was a 0, so let me just erase everything here. Now I want to find out the count of 0 4, right? So let's take initially 40 was count 40, okay, and now how is the count 40 changing? I am multiplying this by 2 and adding the count of 4 to this, okay. So I'm going to say count 40 is equal to count 40 plus count 4 mod, but just the only change is we have to multiply this by 2, okay. And how will my count 4 change? Count 4 will be simple, this one only, but I have to multiply this by 2, okay. For both the replacement 4 and 0, we are multiplying it by 2 because in the end we want to add these two, right? So that is why we have to multiply everything by 2 from the previous step, okay. And similarly my count 404, it will change like this one, okay. And we should not use this new count 40. We should actually use the initial value of count 40, okay. And now we can move on to the calculate the answer, that is f of I plus 1 and count 4. Basically this whole statement will remain the same, okay. And I will refresh the page and refresh this, and it is still giving me the same answer, okay. So now I am going to use this function to calculate my to write the final solution. So what I can do is I can define the function solve, okay, which will take the string as the parameter, and I will write this whole function again here, and my n will be equal to len s, okay. So I am taking this n input and I am saying okay, solve it for me, solve s, okay. And I'm getting error that our mod is not defined, so I can say mod is equal to 10 raised to power 9 plus 7, okay. So this should give me the correct answer, and now let's try to submit it and see what happens now. Let's see if this is the correct answer or not. Basically the time complexity of this is O of n, right? So let's see what happens. Now if I try to submit it, okay, let's try to submit it once again, and this time when I submit it, it will give me a TLE, I think, because it can be optimized further, right? Submission is queued. This is what I don't like about Codechef, because it takes so much time. I mean, even if the first test case is not passing, it will calculate for all the test cases and then it will show the answer, which is it takes a lot of time. I don't like this when it happens. Submission is still queued, but okay, I will just tell you, it will give me a TLE, and why is that? Because every time I am doing this power of 2 raised to power count star, and this is, and to optimize this we can reduce this one, right? So instead I can store a value of, let's say, count equals to 1, okay, and instead of doing this I can say okay, count and count and count here also, okay, and here also I have to do count only, okay. And here also I should do count, and here I should pass counts times 2 mod, and it will still work, I think. Oh, I forgot to write the print statement here, so that will give me a wrong answer there, and it is still giving me a TLE, right? F. So now it is passing all the test cases. Let's make another submission now. And see what happens. I think the server is slow, but basically this will still give me a TLE, because I think the recursive calls, basically the subproblems are not overlapping. We are just moving to the next index, right? So we don't even need a recursive function for this. We can simply just copy paste everything. I mean, we can make these variables, we can do it as in a single for loop, because like that. Okay, and here now for I in range n. Okay, and let's do this. We don't need this either. Okay, if s of I is 4, then we are going to say okay, do this. If s of I is 0, then do this, and if it is 1, then I will just have to update the count is equal to count times 2 and take modulus of it, right? And return, and in the end I should print s. Okay, or I can say I should return my count of 404, and this will also, and this should give me the correct answer. Okay, so let's print it here, and let's see if this gives me the correct answer or not. And we got a correct answer. Okay, so I hope I was able to explain this problem properly, and if you have any doubts or suggestions, you can comment down in this video. I will see you guys next time, so thank you.